return of the Mac. M.A.C. Moss, Andrew Carl.
Yeah.
Back in the building for episode 139. What's happening?
What's
back,
you guys?
It's been a little bit.
Took a little hiatus.
We did. We had to switch up our recording days again. Football's over with, so no need for us to be doing this on Monday nights.
Yes.
We'll be having this pod ready for you Monday mornings moving forward.
Yes. I like the morning pods a little bit better, to be honest. Feel, fresh.
I do too.
Yeah, because if we do when we do them shits at night, like
you went through a whole day.
We get off.
Yeah,
I mean, I get off right off after work and shit. I'm mentally drained normally.
Right.
Like, of course, you get a little bit of boost when you come back in here and shit.
Once we hit record, I feel like the energy goes back up to like where it needs to be.
Right.
But it is like, oh man,
I'll be fresh off of work.
Yeah, like
especially me.
And my day starts at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I'll be like, man, fuck.
Yeah, I like the Saturday morning. I like doing this. I like to try to keep Saturday available so that there is still like time to do other stuff throughout the day.
Yeah.
But this time is perfect. So
for sure.
We're back. We're here.
We are.
Anything going on the last week and a half personally for you gentlemen?
A little bit. Perhaps, family issues, so to speak. Dealing with some things with my daughter, I don't get too deep in it because it's still kind of fresh, but dealing with a little mental issues, depression, borderline suicidal things.
Yeah.
So we had to get her taken care of. Deal with all that. She's doing a little better now, though.
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that's got to be like one of the biggest concerns moving forward, like for the current generation.
Yes.
Like that's become a big thing for all people. But like people my age were kind of like the first generation where it started to be acceptable to like talk about it.
But still was like you got to deal with it on your own type shit. Yeah.
But now the kids are more aware of it at a younger age. It's like, and the social media and stuff obviously I think plays majorly into all the mental problems and suicidal thoughts and that kind of thing. But man, it's just, I know I didn't feel all the stuff that I struggled with as I got older were like as a college kid or later. When I was a kid, I don't remember feeling like this. So I can't imagine.
And that's where I think
it's at now.
It's kind of better now because even, the kids still are not realizing that they're going through what they're going through, but they got people in place, counselors and stuff that can like, all right, something's going on with your child. You need to, do the proper things to get stuff done. And that's basically what happened. She had a conversation with her counselors and it kind of went a little in the depths of, you shouldn't be having these thoughts every now and then. But we figured out it's kind of stemming from a little bit of abandonment she's been feeling because, her biological mother ain't part of her life or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's something that I never I've never dealt with. I've had both my parents and all that, so I never understood what a person or a child goes through by not having one of their parents in their life. And that's basically what she's been dealing with as a child.
And especially, it's a girl too, so it's like, and she's coming of age at this point. Yeah. So, like all of those like hormones and emotions and shit starting to mix together at this point. And it's kind of hard to like figure out how to deal with that shit at such an age like that. And then when you don't necessarily, like I know you got your girl or whatever, but you don't have like, a child like, longs for them, their parents and shit like that. So when you don't have somebody to kind of relate to those emotions necessarily from a female perspective, I know it could probably be a little bit difficult, but at least she got, good people around her and stuff like that and help. And it's something you gotta get through, grow through and shit. So.
Working through it.
Yeah, for sure. Good
sorry to hear about that, though. I mean, I know that's got to be hard to deal with. So.
Yeah, kind of probably hit like my lowest feeling as a parent. Right. You feel like you want, why won't I pay attention to these type of signs and things that's going on? Yeah. So I kind of felt bad. I was down on myself about it a little bit, but the more I was talking to other people, counselors and stuff like that, working it out, I'm starting to realize it's like sometimes it's not. Don't take the guilt. Yeah. Or don't put the blame on you because sometimes people just don't see you. You think a kid's just going through kid shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And look, you can be as tight as possible with your parents.
Right.
At that age, there's just stuff you're not going to
You're not going to talk to your parents.
I'm not going to talk to you about that kind of thing.
That's what was hurting me about it because you feel comfortable talking to the stranger but more than you like talking to us. And I talk to you every day. It's like, but when you realize that sometimes they don't feel as comfortable talking to us about it, they can talk to a counselor or something that makes them feel more open to speak on things. And I'm glad she did. Because I probably would have never really known.
Exactly. Right. That way you can address the issue and, like I said, try to get past it at this point. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, that's like one of my biggest fears, I think, is because I know, like, my daughter is growing and shit, like, she's, like, heavily emotional and shit like that. So, I don't know. I'm not good at dealing with emotions and shit because I'm not a very emotional person like that. Yeah. And I'm luckily I got Shannon or whatever because she's more in tune and shit with stuff like that. Maybe she'll be able to relate to her more when it comes to that. But like I want her to come talk to me about like her problems and stuff. But I have a fear like she'll see me as like maybe like judgmental or something, so she won't come to me about those things.
That's basically what
as she gets older and stuff. So it's just kind of an understanding you got to have. But again, it's like one of my biggest fears, I think, going forward. And I know it's going to be something that I have to address going down the line.
Can't avoid it.
Right. You know, like I said, it's just growing pains. And like I said, she's emotional at this stage. So
my daughter's very emotional.
Once it goes,
cancer vibes.
Right. So once it goes, she gets older and like, she doesn't know how to control those emotions, or like you know, like I said, those hormones start developing and stuff like that. She's developing her body and all of that stuff, and was just becoming older. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to handle it at that point. Yeah, for sure.
No doubt.
Maybe I can reach out to you and see. We can connect at that time since you had that experience at that point. So
Well, look, this ain't me trying to tell y'all how to parent by any means, but coming from somebody that's felt all those types of things or struggle with that stuff, one thing that people don't really think about is like a lot of time. This sounds so much like how women think, but it just is what it is with this topic. Sometimes you know that like there's nothing that anybody else can do to fix it. Yeah, like you can't fix the situation for me. So like we naturally as guys want to try to be like figure out what's the solution.
Yeah,
right.
Next logical step.
You just can't fix it. So it's just better to just listen. Just listen, let them feel like you're talking about, feel comfortable coming to you to talk about it. And just like it's a safe space, but you can't fix it, and I'm sure they would love you to, but I don't think most people that struggle with that kind of stuff have the expectation that somebody else is going to fix this. Right. I just need you to help listen to me talk about it so I'm not carrying it by myself. Yeah. That would be one piece of advice I give you.
That's what I'm learning now. Because a lot of it is like, she, like at this point, she said she's been feeling this way for years. So it's like she's feeling like numb to it, like it's like regular to feel this way. Right. So that's what we're working through, to just understand like this is not a way that you should be feeling on a daily basis. You know, take some counseling, a little therapy, this and that. We're gonna work through it.
Yeah, and that's important too, man, because it's just something that's like not common in Black households, is going to go see a therapist and shit like that. Like, motherfucker, I could have definitely used some therapy, like all the shit that I seen and stuff like that. And I know now like how it affected me, and that's probably why I'm so closed off emotionally and stuff like that, because I didn't necessarily have anybody to talk to about certain things that I was experiencing when I was so young. So I like just locked that shit in, and now it causes me to like lock all my emotions in and then explode at one moment, you know what I'm saying, over something that may not even be that serious, but it's like all this built up anxiety and pressure, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Being a boy or a man too, like how we was mostly brought up is like, yo, you just deal with that shit. Right. Don't be crying about stuff and feeling all emotion. You know.
I mean, it was one rule that my mom always taught me when I was little and shit is like, and it just stuck with me, is like, still to this day, it's like what happens in this house, you don't talk about it. You feel me? Yeah. And so that's what it was for me. I didn't have anybody to talk to about this shit. Like, and that's kind of like why me and Rome kind of connected. That's my best friend, because I was the only person I could talk to about those kind of things and shit, because he was going through the similar shit. Right. And so we instantly like connected at that point. But if I would have had like some counseling or therapy at a younger age, it definitely probably would have benefited me more than it would hurt me. But I think, visioning it like when you're little and stuff, you're like, I'm not fucking crazy. Or people look at you like you crazy. Right. If you're telling somebody you got to go see a fucking therapist, you're like, yo, what the fuck's wrong with you? Right. You know, and so we got to like take off that negativity that's associated with it. And it's like, nah, it's just getting help. It's the same thing going to see a fucking dentist. going to see a doctor, getting your regular checkups,
taking care of your body.
You just take
same thing.
Right, all that shit is connected. Too. You know what I'm saying? It's all connected. So mind, body, soul type shit. So it's important. It's important for sure.
Yeah.
It's dope that that's like starting to change in general.
Yeah.
But like even y'all as an example, like y'all both seem to be open to that now for your own kids. So that's like a break in that cycle from before of not doing this thing or not wanting that to be done.
Yep.
Because therapy, I never saw like an actual therapist, like a medical therapist, but I definitely did counseling. And counseling was fire. Right. Like it sucks to go. And there's a lot of times like, man, I don't want to go talk about this. I don't want to talk to this person. But dog, when I tell you every time I left,
once you get that shit off, you
feel like 50 pounds lighter, son. Even times when like I wasn't doing that bad. And I was like, I don't really feel like I'm carrying this big heavy burden. But just like saying stuff and getting it off your chest is like, Jesus, I just feel light. And
helps a lot.
It's all out now. I ain't got to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
Really, it really is dope. It really is.
For sure.
I got to quit putting it off, getting back to it, because I've been saying for like 3 months now that I was going to get back to counseling. It is something. There is like something to just not wanting to address certain things, but I know once I do, I'll feel better about it. So maybe I'll make that happen sometime.
Yes, indeed.
Well, that's what's up. I didn't realize this is how we were starting. That was a good topic, though.
Yeah, I knew once I said what I had to say, we was going to take it there. I had to get that off.
For sure, man.
What's going on
for sure. Appreciate you sharing it with us.
Yeah.
What about you, Carl? Anything going down?
Man, nothing major, though. Nothing major. Kind of the same old cycle. Right now, so if anything did happen, I can't think of it at the moment. Maybe it'll pop up.
It feels like it's been a minute. Like
I said earlier,
it's like 10 days is like not that long, but it kind of is.
Right,
it is.
For sure. To like recount all of the things that occurred. Right? Nah, I don't know.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. With not having big news.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't really have anything either. I've been like locked into work for real. I always do my job, but I'm not somebody that's putting in overtime. I'm not taking work home with me and stuff. And this past week, being short-staffed in my department, I've been working my ass off. So, in all honesty, I was dreading this week like crazy because I knew I was going to have like mad extra stuff that I was responsible for.
Yeah.
It's low-key been a really great week because the day flies by.
I don't have shit to do.
I don't have a second to stop and look at no other stuff. So it flew by. And there's like a little sense of pride of like, I'm holding down this department by myself.
Yeah.
I finish the day and I'm like, yo, I'm tired, but I feel
the
good about
man
it.
over here.
I killed it.
I feel accomplished a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm doing this shit for sure.
That's definitely like, especially when you slow at work, the day definitely drags.
It's nothing
make
worse,
that shit
bro.
much longer. But when you busy, it'd be like, oh shit, it's almost time to get off.
Like everybody kind of wants like. The dream job is the job as far as like I don't do shit but I get paid, but then you don't want to do that.
You don't want to.
You don't want to do that. That's the worst fucking thing in the world.
Yeah,
it's the worst thing in the world because it's like I just really want something to fucking do.
There's only so
clock
much.
Just don't move.
It does. No, it doesn't move. Right. And it's like ultimately. Nobody wants to be known for being bad at what they do on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Regardless, like I want to like even if I don't like what I do it on a daily basis. So I want to be known for like, I'm the shit at what the fuck I do. Cause this is what I do every fucking day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
True shit.
There's only so much stuff you can look at. Like when you're trying to kill time during the
day.
Like you run out and it's like, everybody else is working. So like they're not like posting stuff on social media. Like there's nothing new to look. I'm refreshing the same thing I already seen before, and the day is dragging. Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst. But
that's for sure. I ain't never think about that. Like everybody else is working.
Everybody else is doing.
Everybody else working.
There's nothing new to look at right now.
For sure, got to stay on the grind.
But let's get to it, man. We got a lot of stuff that has gone on as
Holy
of late
shit.
here.
Right, man. Damn.
We're starting with sports. What do we want to get into first? We got NFL stuff. We got Brittany Griner. Those are the biggest things, honestly.
I mean, well, let's let Brittany Griner shit is crazy.
It is wild.
What's crazy, but I don't know too much about it.
She's locked up.
I know she's locked up, but what's the craziness?
In Russia, right?
Yeah.
All right, so the story is she's a Brittany Griner, WNBA basketball player. I guess in the off season, she goes and plays in Russia.
They make way more money in Russia.
She makes like $1 million a year or something like that. Like I think she makes like twice as much or maybe 3 times as much as she does in the US over there. So she's been doing that for like 7 years now.
A bunch of them do.
Right.
Yeah.
She's been doing that at least since like 2015, they say, when she's been going over to Russia. So she's well known over there. I think she's been playing for the same organization or whatever, same team or whatever, since then or whatever. But this time, of course, we know all of the shit that's going on with Russia, Ukraine, or whatever. She goes, and this happened like a month ago.
Yeah, that's the part that threw me off. Is it seems like when it became news over here, she had been already locked up.
She's been locked up for a month before anybody in the or I don't know if anybody, but before that shit was breaking news.
Before it became like
a story, yeah. So I don't know what the fuck she's going through over there. You can't even imagine. But she's locked up because when she went or landed in Russia and she walked past a what are they called, like a police dog, pretty much. And it smells some shit.
Really?
It smells some shit in her bag. And of course they checked the bag or whatever. They found a vape pen.
She had that hashish then.
Yeah, the hash oil or whatever in the vape pen. Yeah. And that shit is apparently like, I don't know, like an extreme of a crime over there.
Yeah,
like,
foreign countries don't be fucking with that weed.
They don't play with that shit at all.
That's what people be forgetting. Like, just because America is getting light on the weed, but foreign countries still not fucking with the weed.
Somebody said it was punishable up to like 7 years in prison. Sure. Because she brought it.
For bringing it.
Right, for bringing it in.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Even if it's just a little bit.
They consider it like smuggling.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, she's been stuck over there for at least a month now.
Yeah.
In a prison where, I mean, I'm not sure how much she's like picked up as far as like if she can speak Russian or not or whatever. But I'm sure she can't relate to many people.
Right. There's got to be like some kind of understanding if she's been going over there for multiple years.
She had to been doing that shit.
But like, there's no way. Like you said, it's not like they're like. I can't imagine she's fluent.
Right, exactly.
She probably knows some words like
here and there.
I need to use the bathroom.
Right.
Where's my food? Y'all got any women for me?
I mean, right.
That's right.
But I mean, that's just wild, man. It's got to be like mad scary for her at this point. But what does the U.S. do? Does the U.S. try to go get her back, or?
So that's what I was going to ask you too, because I don't know. There is like, I don't know what the rules are. Like,
it's probably different now because they're in a war.
Right. Well, I'm sure Russia's not being cooperative because of that. But like, just in general, I don't know if what the rules are. Like, take this instance out of it. Like, if you go to another country and break one of their rules and get arrested, I can't say in general, like the U.S. should be getting involved with anybody that's like arrested in another country if they broke a rule. But if the person is like being held unfairly and like as a captive for like political reasons, which seems like a very possible situation here, where they're not fucking with our response to what Russia's doing in the war, and they're like, all right, bet we got one of yours.
Right.
Like, then I don't think that should be allowed. Like, we should go and get her if that's the case. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where I would fall on that. But I did see, I think this was on Twitter, and I thought it was funny and very true. Oh, Trump went and got ASAP.
Yeah, Trump went and got ASAP for sure.
And they shared that.
He won't play no games about that shit.
That tweet was so funny. He tweeted something like, it's been a rocky week, but we're trying to get ASAP home ASAP.
Oh, he tried to get a bar off.
He had a bar for him.
So I don't know. It is a little bit odd that other than like random journalist reports of her being locked up over there, like I haven't heard this mentioned on like a government level of either we're aware and there's nothing we can do, or we're working on it, or what. It just seems like nothing has been said.
I'm surprised the team that she's playing for hasn't like put in more action.
You have some skin in the game.
Right. That's what you would think. You would think she'd be a familiar person over there. They'd be like, hold on, stop. This is Brittany. Understand that she's
that's our guy.
Blah. This is a mistake.
That's
not a big deal, bro. If this was LeBron, we'd go to war. For sure.
You talking about LeBron though? Like, she's not LeBron.
I'm just saying.
That's what I'm over here thinking of. I'm like,
war, bro.
People in America don't really care about women's basketball when they're here.
Dog.
So you think they gonna care when they're out of the country?
That's a fair point.
That was the first thing I thought, like, because it broke pretty much right after the war stuff got started.
Yeah.
Or that was at least when I first saw it, and I was like, Russia really misunderstands the leverage that they have right now.
Right.
If they think stealing a WNBA player and locking her up is going to make us do anything.
Right.
That's true.
We don't give
We
her...
didn't even know.
Y'all pay
Didn't
her
even
more than
know.
we
We
do to
didn't
do what
even-
she's best at.
Exactly.
Nobody even fucking knew. With all of this technology and communications, social medias, all of this shit that we have, we didn't even fucking know.
Nope.
Nobody knew that
So
this
it's
was
crazy.
happening.
It's crazy.
We would have knew the day of if it was LeBron James or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I get the comparison. But we would have known the fucking day of. We booked, motherfucker, it's LeBron James fans that would have booked a flight over to Russia. Like, nah, you gonna let my nigga out.
We coming, King.
We coming, King.
Right.
Free our King.
Seriously, though.
The Lakers
Like,
fans wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, Lakers fans ain't going.
Don't send Russ over there. He wouldn't hit nothing trying to shoot.
Just couldn't let it go. Had to say it. Had to get that one
off. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts? Like, as far as what we should do?
I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
I don't know how this game is played in politics and in court of law, especially laws across. I mean, we have different laws for different states, so we're talking about a different country.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At this point, like,
That's in a war. She's gonna be sitting for a while. She's gonna be sitting for a while. I was going to say it.
I don't get. I mean, maybe this is something she's done before. Maybe she's always took a hash oil pen.
That's what I'm thinking. She's been going there for 5-6 years. She's been doing that.
Or maybe
carrying
it was
that
a
shit over
mistake.
there.
I don't know. I don't know if it was like something where she just left it in her bag or something and forgot about it.
Could be.
Or maybe it's like this heightened sense of everything that's going on right now because it's a war over there. So it's like we don't have any tolerance for anything. And she got caught up in some shit. So I don't know.
It's a combination of all that.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. So
I have a hard time thinking
sucks.
they're not trying to use it as leverage to like get somebody Russian back, like in exchange.
Probably.
It just seems like that would be too easy for that to be the case. I have no backing for that. It just seems
I don't
they're
know.
saying,
I don't know.
We'll get her back to you. We need this person back, Vladimir, whoever that is.
Yeah, I don't
Talking
know.
about Putin's there.
Yeah,
It's gotta be scary for her, man. It's gotta be scary for her.
bro.
But you think a wife would be putting up, like, she's married and shit. You think she would be like, posting shit, or maybe she has and nobody gives a fuck.
I think she is the one that eventually got this to be public knowledge.
Really?
I did see an article about it where she was definitely mentioned within it. I don't remember exactly what was said, but I believe she's been the catalyst behind this becoming a bigger thing. Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Wild situation though.
hopefully, everything works out and she's home soon. But maybe she'll play in China from now on. After that, something.
Probably not the best place to go.
Probably not.
Definitely want to bring weed to China.
I guess not.
That
Australia.
sentence is a lot longer in China for weed.
Maybe Australia.
You might want to go somewhere where we could bully them into getting her back if we needed to.
Yeah, right. That's true.
These are the two places we don't really want to mess with.
Definitely not.
That's true.
Yeah, wild stuff. I'm not trying to go to prison nowhere, but being locked up abroad sounds like one of the worst things.
That's got to be one of the worst things ever. Like, I imagine her sitting in like a fucking dungeon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking of right now.
Bro.
Chained up in a fucking dungeon.
Chained up to a chair, like
Yeah,
torture shit, like you were seeing James Bond.
They don't see no big women like that over there. They're probably terrified of her. They probably got her strapped up.
I'm sure they got her in the men's jail.
Possibly,
sure, bro. I'm gonna stop making
Possibly.
those jokes, but I'm serious about that one.
I was gonna say that
That's
shit. I was gonna make a joke.
There's no way she's in the men's prison. You remember when Freddie Gibbs got locked up?
Yeah.
Where was he at? Do you remember? Dubai.
That's a whole different thing right there.
That's
too.
crazy. So
I wouldn't want
he was
that.
over there
it was
for like 2
it was
months.
a rape charge.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He was
Holy
over there for
shit.
months
He was over there for
before
a while.
he got. I believe he was found not guilty and released, but I can't
They
say
say it was
that
like
for
a
sure.
false accusation at the end of it or something like that.
Ended up proving it, but after they locked him up for 2 to 3 months, it's crazy.
This makes you not want to travel any fucking way.
Hell no.
Imagine that. You fucking get locked up. Fuck that shit, man.
It's like you just.
For months in another fucking country somewhere, man.
Couldn't imagine.
If I got locked up here, I would barely know what to do. Like, what should I do to try to get people to help me?
You can't communicate.
My dad's an attorney, and I still wouldn't know. Like, yo, I gotta just help me. But being somewhere else, like, I don't even know how to dial a U.S. number here.
You don't know their rules,
How do
their
I
laws,
call?
nothing.
Crazy.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's gotta suck. It's gotta suck, man.
What else? What's next?
NFL, man. shit's been going down.
You want to stick with the trouble case?
What was that?
Calvin Ridley?
Just yeah. We can do that.
So Calvin Ridley, do we know? All right. So the basis of what took place is he got caught gambling and was suspended for the entire season. Correct?
Whole year. Yep.
Indefinitely. Yeah. As they said, at least the entire season coming up.
Whack. Make a decision. Make a punishment. Don't do that indefinite bullshit.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. For sure. But do we know how he got caught? That's what I'm curious about.
They said, he did it in Florida. He was in Florida, and Florida only has like one sports book. I think it's called like Vegas some sports book or some shit like that.
Okay.
So it's only one sports book you can use. Of course, the NFL has ties with all the gambling sites and shit like that, and they have like this. I forgot what it's called, but it's something that helps sort through the bets to make sure that no players are betting.
Oh, wow.
So it's basically a system that can find whoever player is betting. And of course, this dumbass uses his name and places bets. You know what I'm saying?
Like when we sign up for any of the sports books we use, they're asking for social.
Yeah.
Like most of them had to have me send identification to verify myself.
Get your cousin. Use your cousin's account.
Right. Okay.
Use your family.
That's what I wonder. Like, why would you use your own account? No, did he think that he was no longer a part of the NFL because he
I think that's a legitimate complaint. If it was done like while he had stepped away from the team and he's not in the facilities and all this type of shit, I think he has a legitimate gripe of, not saying that he doesn't get in trouble at all. If the NFL rules are you can't do it at all, you can't do it at all. But it's not like he was playing in games.
Right.
And was betting. I understand that means something differently.
But you're still under contract with this team.
Yeah.
So that's the part of it is like all of the language in this contract still applies to you because you haven't retired.
That's fair. It's making an example out of him, it seems like.
For sure.
Because it's definitely overkill. A year?
They have to, though, at this point. I think a year is a bit much, but with the way that, like, the NFL is in bed with these gambling websites and stuff like that.
That's what makes it bullshit.
They have to make a point to
so
it,
you think players is not getting their mans to help put wagers on shit?
That's fine. That's a smart player to do that.
Yeah,
Calvin really is not a smart guy if he's using his name and information, knowing you can't do this.
Right.
This is an age old thing when it comes to sports.
Right.
You can't gamble the sport that you're in. Like you can't do that.
Do y'all know Pete Rose?
That's a baseball player, right?
Yeah.
Ain't he supposed to be like a Hall of Famer? But
he might be like, not from a home run standpoint. He has the most hits of anybody ever.
Right.
Like, he's considered to be one of the greatest hitters of all time. A clear Hall of Famer. He was banished from baseball. Can't attend any events. Not eligible for Hall of Fame. Like they don't acknowledge him at all.
Nobody brings his name up
because he gambled, and he never was gambling against himself. Like they had major thorough investigations and stuff. He never bet against himself, never like threw games or anything, but he was a gambling addict and would bet on games. And they don't play about that.
Right.
And that was way back before, all the gambling stuff has now become such a forefront thing like you're talking about. I do kind of get why they had to make an example.
Because it has something to do with the integrity of the game. Like, even if you're not throwing games and stuff like that, who's to say?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? How do you know that?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where you got to draw the line on things. And like I said, you got to make an example out of them, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's one of those things. They're trying to just stay above reproach completely.
Yeah. But I think it's a little harsh still.
This is
harsh.
I do. Definitely harsh.
It's a bit much. I think,
I'd have gone 10 games, to be honest.
10 games and then
that still is
give them a chance to appeal and get it reduced to 6 or something.
Well,
because
we've seen players do far worse things and just get 4 or 6 games.
Right. That's the hard thing. That's the hard part to
Greg
argue
Hardy type shit. You know what I'm saying? What fucking. They let Ray Rice come back at first until the video came out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson is now, back in, teams will trade, 5 fucking first round picks to get them on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On their fucking roster. So I don't know. I think it's still a little harsh, but
he ain't played the whole season, but
he did miss it. He did end up missing a year. But.
He's done that. I mean, he stepped away from the team on his own doing,
no, the NFL said he couldn't play.
They didn't punish him yet. No, the NFL didn't say he couldn't step on the field.
I don't think so. I think the Texans just deactivated him.
Oh,
he said he's not playing for the Texans.
Image kind of thing.
Remember, he told the Texans.
Oh yeah, he was already doing that, but it wasn't because of this though. He just won't try to play for the Texans.
I mean, this is already like, it adds to the fire, of course. Right. But originally, he was like, "I'm not playing for you guys anyway." So he wasn't going to step foot on the field to begin with. But yeah, like I said, I mean, people have done much worse things. Fucking Joe Mixon is running all. He was just playing in the fucking Super Bowl. He knocked the bitch out at the bar. You know what I'm saying? So
in general,
Tariq Hill,
right. That people idolize and look up to this day. Ray Lewis killed a man. You feel me?
And Ben.
I mean, let's be real.
Ain't gonna leave your boy out. You know, it is what it is.
In general, I hate that. Like, I hate that rebuttal. Yeah, that like other stuff is worse. But
I mean, it is.
If you look at it, like it's just mad inconsistent. The way they judge things is just completely on the fly. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna make people mad. Okay, 8 games. People aren't that mad. Reduce it to 2. Like it's just public image bullshit.
That's all
they don't care.
That's why I think they just really just making an example out of them because they know this sports betting thing is getting big. Yeah, and they got a lot of states with their teams in them. That they know they're gonna be placing bets. They know people placing bets. There's no way around it. There's definitely some players placing bets. You bet on
the Falcons?
No, I didn't.
He bet on the Falcons.
Did.
I saw it was a 3-team parlay for $1,500. Is what I thought. That's what I'd seen.
That's what he said himself that he only bet $1,500. Yeah. One of the bets was on the Falcons. It was for them to win, but still. Yeah. He definitely bet on that.
I've seen this post. I don't know how true it is, but it says the former Alabama star placed 2 additional $100 wagers on NFL games not involving the Falcons, winning both for a $654 profit.
So he's a good bettor.
According to the investigators, but let me get to it. Okay. Willie also placed 33 additional wagers on other sports leagues for $32,000 with a profit of $2,000. His net loss across all wagering sports books for the Hard Rock Online Sportsbook. That's the one that's in Florida. Okay. Through the Seminole Trial, Florida, it was $1,100.
Net losses?
Wagering loss across. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It still is. Most people lose money gambling. So.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what it is. Where it's up.
That's wild. Did you see the video that they tried to put out? Like the montage of him making questionable plays, and they're like him. He was throwing it. Did you see it?
I didn't see that.
It was multiple clips where like he'll have a catch over the middle, and he's running, and then like a defender kind of comes up a little bit, and he runs like 5 yards backwards trying to get around the defender, and like lost the first down. Or he had a play where he's like over the middle, looks like he's breaking away for a touchdown, and he makes a really odd cut out to the outside and doesn't score. Like if you watch just the video. Sure, you could say like that's really weird looking play right there that he didn't get in when it looked like he could. But to me, like they were plays similar to like what you see Tyreek Hill do all the time. Yeah, where he makes a catch and runs backwards, trying to like fuck up the defense, sure. And it ends up not working out on some plays, and then other plays they take it 85 yards, and it's like people are reaching heavy on that.
I would say that was a weird thing about Calvin Ridley, and like it's kind of been like a thing over the course of his career is that he'll start off the best wide receiver in the fucking league. Right, the first like 6 weeks of the season, this motherfucker have 15 touchdowns, and then all of a sudden he'll just fall off a cliff and finish the year with 16 touchdowns or some shit. Like, you'd be like, yo, what the fuck happened? Right. I don't know if that has anything. It probably doesn't. You know, teams watch film and shit like that. It's like, I'm not going to let this guy kill me. Yeah. But something to bring up now.
These are the kind of questions that come up once you get in trouble.
They're going to arise. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. It's, calling the question. So
you think they went with the year indefinite whatever suspension on purpose with understanding that it will be decreased upon appeal?
Probably.
I feel like maybe they know they're going to decrease it to 8 to 10 games and want to come out with the harsh penalty to send the message.
Right.
I do hope they cut it back a little bit.
If he even wants to play anymore, I don't even. Who knows?
That was the other part I wasn't sure about. Was he planning to come back this year?
He was talking like he wanted to play. He's like, he's apparently was tweeting right after the news came out, or whatever, saying a couple of things. I think he said one of them. He said, "Well, I'll just be more healthy when I come back," or some shit like that. So he is planning to come back.
He was being real lighthearted with the text. I didn't mind it, but it doesn't look great to like.
Right. You don't want to
make fun of the situation a little bit.
Right. You've been quiet for this long. You just kept it quiet.
Just kept it quiet. Yep.
What a weird situation.
Take your licks and go on. You know. Yeah.
All right, so the player signings, a lot of movement going on here the last week and a half.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
You tell me where we want to start.
Let's go with the first. Let's go in order.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers.
Staying with the pack.
I'm sure we asked this question like weeks ago, but did any of us think he was leaving?
During the season, I did. But once I seen that they franchise tagged, or what he was telling the team to franchise tag Devontae, I was like, oh, he's coming back. He's not going to leave Devontae there by himself.
Got you.
I mean, once you look around the landscape of things and shit, and like think logically, it's like, where the fuck is he going?
Well, the Broncos was high on that list.
Yeah, but you guys have just competed in NFC Championship. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the Packers have been. He's not Matt Stafford,
right.
In this case, where you've been on a shitty team your entire career. No, you guys have fucking competed every year, and you go somewhere fucking else and possibly be on a shitty team.
I mean, it was one of them things where they hadn't been able to get over the hump for like 10 years now. So it's like they've been staying stagnant
over the
where
hump,
they have
though.
been.
Like, I think we have to
Super Bowl or bust. Get rid of that mentality.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not realistic to think that somebody's going to win a Super Bowl every year, or even once every 5 years, or even once every 10 years. It's just not realistic.
That's true.
To think that
but
would
we
happen.
don't put that on everybody. We put that on certain players on certain teams.
Yeah, that's
like Aaron Rodgers should get that. He's a Super Bowl caliber type of player.
Yeah, no doubt. And he's won one. At that point, that's really all you can expect from a first round draft pick.
As a fan, you mean?
Huh?
Like you talking about like from a fan's perspective, if you're a Packers fan, like you got a Super Bowl.
Well, right. I mean, from a Packers fan, or even as Aaron Rodgers, it's like that's acceptable for your career at that point, because it's like it's so many great quarterbacks as a play at the game that haven't won a Super Bowl or haven't made it to a Super Bowl, or like I said, Chip Kelly lost fucking 4 in a row. Yeah. So it's just it's so hard, you know what I'm saying, to do these things. So I think we need to set our expectations a little bit lower. Again, it's fucking Tom Brady put that shit on another level, for everybody. And I get it. Everybody wants to strive for that. But the likelihood of that happening, it's fucking 1%. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be
probably
real.
less than that.
It really is. It has to be a perfect storm. We're talking about you matching up the greatest quarterback of all time, matching up with the greatest coach of all time, and also having other Hall of Fame players sprinkled in, or you know what I'm saying? Great players sprinkled in over the course of time as well too. It's just it's not likely to happen.
How many quarterbacks won multiple Super Bowls?
Only a handful. We talking about Peyton.
It's got to be a list of like 10 at the most, right?
At the most, because we're talking about John Elway, Peyton Manning,
Montana.
Eli, Montana, Steve Young, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady. Those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, pretty
those guys.
List there. Rattled that off nicely.
I've thought about this a lot because I always tell people that Ben Roethlisberger is a great quarterback because he,
You're trying to figure out. Okay.
Because you already know where we're going.
You got to think about this. If you're the Green Bay Packers, they've had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back. And only gotten 2 Super Bowls out of it in the last 30 years.
Right. Yeah.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you could talk to every other fan base and there's like 2 maybe that wouldn't kill for that.
Right.
Give me 2 Super Bowls of 40 great years of playing where we're always in the mix. I'll take that every single day.
I'll take that every time. That's where you have to set your expectations. Like if you draft a guy in the first round, if he gets you to 1 Super Bowl, it's worth it.
I got a trivia question for you.
Yeah.
What's the only division in the league that all the teams have won a Super Bowl?
That all the teams have won
in the division that won the Super Bowl. See what your historian level is.
I have to sit there and think about it, but I would say maybe
I think we
AFC
can figure
West.
this out. Don't answer him yet. I want my guess too.
I bet.
That is a good guess though. Do the Cardinals have one?
Yeah, the Cardinals have
Kurt Warner.
No, they lost that one.
They did lose.
So no.
Yeah. Hold on, I have to think about all the teams in each
AFC
division.
East is a no.
To speed it up, when we y'all a little hint.
No, let me run 2 more minutes.
All
right, now that the
it's the NFC, it's the NFC East, ain't it?
What you got?
It's the NFC East.
Yeah.
It's the NFC East.
The Cowboys.
Yeah, for sure.
The most hated division, probably.
Yeah. They're terrible now, but they all each had their run.
They all had different reigns.
Right. It's the NFC
that makes sense.
And the Eagles finally got their first one.
Good question. Foles. Who would have thought? Oh, interesting. Well, I mean,
about that.
Yeah, I think that's.
So I thought that was added to the thing of teams don't be winning Super Bowls. Like,
it's like there are teams out there. It's it's a good handful of teams that have never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
never. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, it is what it is when it comes to that, and that's why I was like, "Where the fuck is Aaron Rodgers going?"
Yeah, I've never. I don't think he has any interest in leaving. I know he said a bunch of shit and stuff, but I feel like everything that he's said has been a calculated leveraging of. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing things on my terms and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've never believed he wanted to leave. Once you've been somewhere for so long, I would imagine most people don't want to just suddenly make a change.
Right.
The situation was different because of the whole him and Belichick thing and the way that played out towards the end and stuff and his crazy competitive nature. Like, I understand why he was a little bit different with that.
Yeah.
But I'd say 95% of the guys that play somewhere for 10 plus years are not looking to go somewhere else. They end up usually having to.
Right. It's normally the organization that says, hey, you got to get the fuck up out of here. You're too old.
We're done.
And he's already been through a coaching change. So it's not like he's been stagnant with the same coach and all of that same system throughout. You know, they've had some change over there. But, I mean, ultimately, though, I look at it as Aaron Rodgers having Green Bay Packers by the fucking balls in a vice grip.
Pretty much.
Yes.
I mean... They don't have, they drafted another option. Clearly, he's not good enough because you wouldn't extend a 38-year-old quarterback by 4 fucking years. And I know he came out and said that the contract isn't this or that, whatever, but it's enough reports out there to be like, all right, it's enough validity to this to be like, it's probably somewhere around this number. 4 years, what is it, 200 million, 153 million guaranteed.
That's a lot.
I look at it as, look, re-signing them, right move, cool. But not for that fucking much and that long. To me, I think that's stupid. It's a bad move. But, you know, if they get a Super Bowl out of it, what the fuck do I know, you know?
I tend to agree with you, but football contracts are such bullshit, I just don't even know.
Yeah.
It seems like they can get out of them anytime they want to, especially
not with 150 mil tied to it.
It's a lot. At the same time,
the guaranteed might be. I'd have a hard time buying that. If the 153 guaranteed is correct, then I'm 1,000% with you.
Yeah,
that's a bad contract. But
at the same time, if he had with somebody else, they would have paid him that. Or at least somewhere close to it in that range.
I think a lot of teams would have paid that 50 mil a year price tag. I don't know how many teams are going for 3 and 4 years. That's the part that seems wild.
It's just he's so old at this point, and it's like, I mean, you just drafted Jordan Love like last year, or
I think he's like
this is his 3rd year that he's coming into. So
okay, I was going to say 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is going forward with Jordan Love at this point. And I mean, if you re-sign Aaron Rodgers to that kind of deal, you might as well call him a bust. Even though they say he's still within our future plans, you just try not to hurt this guy's feelings. But let's be real, he's not. His contract is set to be up by the time Aaron Rodgers will still be a player under contract for you. So
you might as well get rid of him now.
Might as well.
And sign some other old veteran backup. Like, so that you have your backup quarterback. But, like, what's the point of even having that guy? He's clearly not able to even be a backup from we've seen the few times he's been out there.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think he's only had one start, but it wasn't great.
Just one last year.
Yeah, it wasn't great to watch. But, I mean, you know, maybe they see something that we don't. Maybe he's better than what we saw that one game. And that's you know, certainly possible. But, again, you don't make that decision when they moved on from Brett Favre, they was like, we got a fucking stud behind you. That's why we're fucking moving on for you. Yeah. And Brett Favre still had game left. He went and played for 2 franchises after that. And he took Minnesota or the Jets to the playoffs. I can't remember.
I think it was Minnesota.
Definitely with the Jets.
Okay, yeah. Well, he took Minnesota to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think he went to the 2nd round or something like that. Or, I mean, I know they were in the mix. They were a pretty good team. So he still had some football left in him to play. And they moved on from him. So that tells me that, Jordan Love is just not that good, or they're not counting on him to be that guy. And Aaron Rodgers knows that. And it's like, you go pay me every fucking dollar that I want. And hey, well, I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do?
All right, that boy Russell Wilson, traded to the Broncos.
What was the trade? All I know is he went to the Broncos.
Nonsense. It's like 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, fucking Noah Fant, Drew Lock, and like a 3rd-round pick or something like that too. Or
oh wow,
it's a fucking haul.
So I would venture to say that this was a good move by the Seahawks.
Oh, it's a fucking fantastic move by the Seahawks.
They clearly are. They've been on the decline for a little bit. I still think Russ is good. Don't get me wrong. I think. Honestly, I kind of think it's a good move for both. I understand that all the draft picks and stuff is super questionable, but I think Denver was with him. I think they were close last year. Like if they had a legitimate, really good quarterback, I think they could have been a contender.
Yeah, right.
So I don't mind the move, but yeah, if you're Seattle, like at a certain point, you got to know that we're not going forward anymore.
Yeah,
let's get the biggest haul we can. And I saw they also let go of Bobby Wagner, which is kind of wild, but they're just
Bobby
saving
Wagner
money
said
there
they
too.
didn't even say nothing to him. Like he found out the way we found out type shit.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It happens pretty frequently.
Yeah, it's kind of
just
fucked
wild.
up. Yeah.
It does.
But yeah, Russ, the conversation. What do y'all think about that move?
I mean, this is one of those trades, I normally don't like when a team gets like fleeced like this necessarily. I'm like always like, yo, this is a bad idea. But given like that, I don't know, this quarterback.
The Broncos was expecting to get Aaron Rodgers. So when they didn't get him, they needed to get somebody else.
Yeah, right. And they
what I'm saying?
like middling quarterback pack for a long time, like this average guy. And the last time that they were any good is when they went out there and got a guy like Peyton Manning. So it's like, hey, maybe this is what we need to do to get back to where we need to be. Because obviously we suck at drafting them. Yeah. I mean that's clear and tried and true at this point. So it's like let's go ahead and do something. Let's make a splash, and I get that. But I mean, damn, that's just a lot to give up. You better win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson.
Right.
You better win a Super Bowl.
How y'all think Noah Fant feels when he heard the news? Oh, we getting Russ? Oh shit! I'm part of the trade
with your boy Drew Lock.
With Drew Lock, you stuck with Drew Lock again.
Locked with this dude.
I know Jerry Jeudy and what's the other dude's name?
Jerry Jeudy,
Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton. Yeah, the two of them. They got the good running back, the young kid, the UNC guy, right? Don't they got Williams?
Javonte.
Yeah.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
Offense should be looking solid. And the defense was already good.
Yeah. They're missing a QB. They're going to be pretty solid.
It's one of those things where, in this case, like you said, it's a trade that works for both teams. It does. But Denver has to get a Super Bowl out of this. Seattle doesn't necessarily have to do anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Rebuild as best
they're going to rebuild as best they can. They have the tools and resources to do that now.
You're just saying I'm putting them high expectations on everything. Now they have to get a Super Bowl.
No, when you do something like this, you got to. You got to, for sure. Because you mortgage your future at this point. So it's like, you don't have any choice. But because if you don't, 5 years from now, your team's fucked.
How old is Russell?
35?
He mid-30s, should be.
So
maybe younger than that.
I mean, you got...
I was thinking like 33.
Well, probably 34, 35, something like that. I think he does turn 35 here soon. But
then right after that, Khalil Mack gets traded to the Chargers.
Bro, they got the Bosa boy and Mack on the same line.
The AFC West...
That's retarded.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think I might have said this before, the Chiefs have had their window, and now their division is kind of stacked a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
They're going to have some issues this coming season. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had your window. I was going to Super Bowl 2-3 years back to back or whatever. Shit about to get real now.
do you not see them as the favorite in that division?
I mean, of course you would say that right now, but
I'll put the Chargers right on their ass.
Yeah,
but gotta have them first for sure.
Put the
Who's the best quarterback in that division?
Oh,
you still gonna go with Mahomes?
Yeah.
But if you're ranking them, how would you rank them? 1 through 4.
Mahomes and then honestly, Mahomes and then Herbert for me.
For sure, that's hard.
I really do. I put Russ third, and I think he
Herbert's
could easily.
I don't think people talk about Herbert enough. That dude's like statistically, bro.
Because they didn't get in the playoffs.
Yeah, you gotta start winning games.
No doubt. But
no, I'm with you. I agree.
Bro,
but I think that's
you
why.
look at since he's been a starter. Remember, he didn't start at first. They had Tyrod in
like
there
4 or 5 games
originally.
into that first season.
Thank God somebody poked his lung. Unfortunately, that's fucked up, right? But I mean,
Thank God. Thank God.
That's
thank
wild.
God somebody poked this guy's lung because you got a chance to get this guy on the field, and man, I think his first year he came out there and threw like 33 touchdowns, 10 picks in a shortened season, nearly 4,000 yards, and then he comes back and throws
Numbers
for
last
almost.
year were crazy.
Did he throw like 5,000 yards last year? He threw for over 5,000 yards, like 40 touchdowns, maybe 10 interceptions or something like. The dude is amazing. Really, like I said, he has every attribute that you want in a quarterback. He's fucking big. He's strong. He's fast. He can throw the ball a fucking mile. At the end of the day, I mean, Mahomes is fucking great, but if this motherfucker starts winning games and like really competing, we might have a different view on that.
I'm gonna have a preseason bet in on the Chargers winning the Super Bowl and him winning the MVP.
Sheesh.
Not because I think it's like a done deal by any means, but the value should be there.
Yeah, for sure.
That team is scary. Their offense was already fire. The defense was trash and couldn't stop the run to save their lives. Now they put Mac in the middle, and like I said, you already got Bosa on the outside. Get Derwin James back for the full season. Mm-hmm. They could be scary. They could be scary. They also could be the team that we're talking about 6 weeks in that's like, yo, that shit flopped.
Yeah, sure.
I don't see that, but it seems like every year there's an obvious beast team that just flops. So maybe that's them, but
definitely
at that point you got to move on from the coach because you got the talent.
Right.
The talent is there. GM did his job.
AFC West is definitely lighting the fire under the Chiefs' ass right now.
Well, who's the fourth team? I'm going Raiders. Yeah,
Raiders.
So that's your fourth quarterback. By
yeah,
the way.
and that's unfortunate because like Derek Carr could play,
and they was overachievers this season, so you know.
Yeah,
they might be,
and they have a good
they always
roster
have
too.
the Chiefs' number.
Yeah,
they play.
That's so weird. They have a good team overall, and they would have been better if it wasn't for the Henry Ruggs shit and the John Gruden shit that went on. Like they started off the season hot.
Yeah.
So I mean that division in all is going to be ultra competitive, and I mean you can bet that the Super Bowl winner might, or at least the representative for the AFC might come out of that division next year. It's a safe bet to say that.
I saw the Raiders gave a big bag to their defensive end too.
Crosby,
yeah.
I did see that.
I want to say he got like $95 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
4-year deal, I believe.
He's nice.
Yeah,
big season
for sure.
Definitely deserved.
Especially since where he came from to them. So
one thing on Russ, he has 2 years under contract left. This season and next, and then he's a free agent, unrestricted free agent after that. So it's another risk to the move.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go well, then they just gave away all that stuff that they gave up, draft picks and all that wise, for 2 years of getting Russ. I always get nervous about that with those trades. Like basketball and stuff, they'll do sign and trades where they can like re-up them for 3 or 4 years before they even make the trade official. And like, I'm getting a player for 5 years.
Right.
But only having him locked in for 2 more seasons and giving up all that, that doesn't change that. I still think it's a good deal, but that makes me really nervous if I'm a fan.
Do you think
ain't it?
You think Seattle should be?
Might be.
Do you think Seattle should be the favorites to land Deshaun Watson at this point, since they have the ammunition? Like nobody. I mean,
what are they going to give up? All the draft picks?
All the picks they just got?
I mean, they can at least give up 2 of them.
Yeah,
I mean, they got their own first, and then
that was a situation that I started to ask the question and realized that I already knew the answer while I was in the middle of asking.
Yeah, like
just picked up all those draft picks, but yeah, I was trying
to. Got a shitload.
Texans were adamant about wanting to have an impact player included. Yeah. Like back when the Panthers were heavily involved with the trade talks, McCaffrey was a done deal as being a part of it. So I don't know, is Metcalf the piece that you must have if you're making that move?
I don't think they have any over there.
That would be my issue, because I don't think they have that piece if the Texans really want a ready to go player right now that's going to be an impact.
Right, and like change.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, that you can market at that too. I'm not sure. So maybe not, but I mean they certainly got the draft picks to go into a bidding war with. And
anybody.
Hey, yeah, right. I mean, it's not like you're trading. It's apples for apples. You know what I'm saying? If you give up And you're gonna come out better because you're still they're not gonna really want your second round picks, and you're still gonna have those and these other things as well that you acquired from Denver too. So
if they finesse that, they won.
It's a flip, dog.
If they got rid of Russ for Deshaun, that's a move.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we could say, I guess, Deshaun was recently, the grand jury said that they will not press criminal charges.
Yep.
There wasn't enough evidence for them to do so. So now it's going to be a fucking frenzy to see who can get Deshaun Watson now.
I'm still confused by the situation in that I can't imagine trading for him without the NFL ruling being made of like if he's facing suspension or not. We've seen before that charges being dropped doesn't mean that the NFL is not going to suspend him. I think if they're going to suspend him for 6 games, 8 games, I'm not saying you don't trade for him, but that has to impact what you're willing to give up if you're losing another half a season.
Sure. Yeah. It's got to be part of the negotiation, but I think every team that's in talks knows that you can't be that ignorant to know, like, as soon as the season starts, or not soon as, but before the season starts, you'll probably get some kind of information for the league regarding his status or whatever. But you have to know that he's going to be suspended. He's not playing week 1. That's something that you know as a GM trading for Deshaun Watson. He's not going to play week 1. He's probably not going to be available to you until at least week 5. Or week
I don't think he should be suspended. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I don't think he should be suspended.
Probably not.
He missed the season already. Yeah. Like, we kind of talked about it a little bit. Like, it's a little bit up in the air if it was his decision. If the Texans were just sitting him, can you really count that towards us?
But they have to do something.
He's a top 5 quarterback the year before he sat.
Yeah.
And he missed an entire season. Like, you can't say that wasn't part of the punishment. I just don't buy that. And if the charges are dropped, I'm very against that NFL bullshit of still saying we're going to suspend somebody when charges are dropped. If I get arrested for a DUI and they drop my charges, my company shouldn't be able to do shit about it. Like the company I work for right now.
I mean, yeah,
that's
right.
Nuts.
That's fair as well, but the NFL has it. Ben Roethlisberger was never charged with anything. He got a 6-game suspension. So, and the charges were dropped or they settled or whatever on that shit. So, and it was similar to Deshaun. It wasn't a criminal case. It was civil. So he's definitely going to get suspended. That's just how the NFL has handled these things. And they have to do something because people are always going to lean on the fact, look at how the NFL, they support this. They didn't do anything about it.
Once again, another PR move.
That's the only thing it's about. Yeah. It's to save a little bit of face. They want this motherfucker on the field.
Of course. He missed 17 games. He already did that time.
Most of that was to his own doing. But the NFL, just by the way that they operate of what we know that they're gonna suspend them for some. They have to put down some kind of punishment just so they can say, "Hey, we did this, and we're moving on from it." Right. At this point,
get this man time served.
Yeah. Time served.
Get him time served, son. Yeah, if I was him, I would be pressing the NFL for a decision. Honestly, even if it's not a decision you want, it's in his best interest to know what the suspension is,
and that way teams
so that
can go
he
ahead
can
and
get to a team he wants to go to.
They start making some moves. I ain't mad at that.
For sure. I think they should as well too.
All right, who else we got?
Carson
Wentz, man. That boy is getting traded.
Again,
left and right.
He is the kid that nobody wants.
Yeah, right now at this point. It's just, I don't know. He's so Carson Wentz got recently traded to
the Commanders.
The Commanders now.
Fucking Redskins, dog.
Yeah, so and what was that deal for? It was a third and
no clue.
I don't remember.
Maybe 2/3 or something like that. And I think they traded, or I think it was a third and something else, but
I want to say it was a third and a sixth. Now that I think
it's like a third and maybe something like that. But I think they traded the first and the third for him last season. Indy did.
Gotcha.
To get him in house. So they're just saying like, man, fuck it. We ain't gonna get that first round pick back anyway. Let's go ahead and get away from underneath this money and ship him off somewhere else and just say that was a bad decision. But you knew this was coming, that they were either gonna release him or try to trade him after the Colts GM spoke after the season was up, he pretty much said like, we're not moving forward with Carson in so many words.
Really? I don't remember.
You don't remember what he said?
I just don't remember it.
If I can plug up, I'll play it real quick. But it was pretty definitive on his stance with Carson Wentz or whatever.
I don't even have the other plug. I mean, I have it, but I'm going to have to get it.
Oh, okay. No worries then. No worries. Oh, well, I can play it into the mic if you want, if that works.
I don't care.
I think it's pretty definitive on how he feels.
Made the decision to make a move on Carson. At the time of the decision, we felt good about it, and I still don't regret the decision at the time. I'm not gonna, just sitting here today, just so y'all know, I won't make a comment on who's gonna be here. Some good things, and there's a lot of things that he needs to do better.
I mean, pretty much when you start using language like at this time or at that time, we felt it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. So we knew that was coming, and so it's not a surprise that they shipped him off. But I just don't know what happens with Carson Wentz at this point. Like,
he's going to be a journeyman for the rest of his career.
He is what he is at this point. Yeah. You shouldn't expect him to come in and turn on that light of that 2017 Carson Wentz that we all thought we were going to get. This MVP caliber player. He's just, that might have been a flash in the pan type shit. Like, once in just a moment. Not to say he's a bad quarterback, because his statistics last year were actually pretty good. He threw 27 touchdowns and only a few interceptions. It wasn't double digits. So
it was a good year.
He had good statistics overall.
Yeah.
But he didn't. It wasn't good enough. He didn't perform in the big moments as you would expect a big time quarterback to do.
Now you could actually argue that in the biggest moments he got worse.
Right.
Like individual games, there were times where they're making
comeback. He threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my life.
Out of the end zone?
Out of the end zone? That was one of the worst interceptions. Yeah. It was a pick six.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody do that. He flipped the ball up in the air.
27 and 7
did that shit too.
Yeah,
27 and 7.
27 and 7.
I bet.
He's that anomaly shit, man. What teams are not going to sign up for a blind resume 27 and 7?
Right. Oh, yeah. Right.
Give me that dude. But when you actually see him play, it just looks different.
It
just looks different.
It's nothing
they
special.
get you over the hump.
I take him in Carolina.
And then I've seen linebacker's name, Darius Leonard. He wasn't too happy about that shit. I think he tweeted something like, it's like 3-4 seasons in a row we chasing the quarterback out.
I did see that.
It's like we can't keep a solid quarterback for more than one season. I was like, I understand, because y'all got a solid squad.
I like
that dude's a beast though, man.
I like that dude.
He don't get enough credit. He's really one of the best. Like, I compare him like mentally or his mentality wise to Ray Lewis. Like, as far as leadership wise,
sure.
And I mean, he's a great player too, but just leadership wise and energy that he brings to the field, he's a Ray Lewis like player and figure. But of course, he don't get the media attention and stuff like that.
He's got to kill somebody.
He got to stab somebody for sure. Have a major court case. But I mean, he's a great player, and I do get what he's saying though. I mean,
it sucks.
They just had Phillip Rivers. You go out there, the team said you go out there and make a splash move for Carson Wentz. The team probably initially got behind that. And it's just like, where do we go from here?
Well, it started from, what's his name? That retired for the Colts. What the fuck is his name? The one that retired. Andrew Luck. It started with him.
Yeah, he fucked up.
Yeah, when he retired.
They were good.
That's where it started.
They were in a good position, man.
The more we talk about it, the more I do think it's a terrible decision by them.
To get rid of him?
Yeah, all the stuff that I just said about, he just doesn't look good in big moments and stuff. That's true. I mean, I'm not jumping off that ledge, but 27 and 7, and you've got possibly the best running back in the league, or one of the top best running backs.
Solid defense.
I don't know. Maybe that is too soon to jump off the train.
I think it's maybe a little too soon. I think they just rolled them off.
You got 2 good receivers already too.
You got to keep some type of consistency at quarterback for a little while. You can't keep moving and swapping them out every year.
They got one of the best offensive lines in the game. But I've seen this narrative go around too that say like, Wentz is in the perfect situation now with Washington and all. No, he was in a perfect situation before.
Yeah, he was. Facts.
The Colts are way better than fucking Washington.
Yeah.
Facts.
On every level, they have fucking Jonathan Taylor was an MVP candidate. God damn it, this guy was one of the best offensive players in the league last year, hands down.
And Pittman is a beast. I think
McLaurin's
a little bit better.
Terry McLaurin is definitely a better wide receiver.
But it's not
who's
like,
a better weapon, Jonathan Taylor or McLaurin?
Yeah.
Give me Jonathan Taylor because I can just hand this motherfucker the ball. We don't even have to put it in the air and risk anything.
Right.
So, he was unless they had a great defense as well too. They have fucking 7 Pro Bowlers. They had the most Pro Bowlers in the NFL last year. Didn't make the playoffs.
Forgot about that.
So I mean, I just think I think Washington will probably be like, I think it's an upgrade for them ultimately.
Yeah, what's up with all the Redskins fans being mad about this?
Are they?
I haven't seen any Redskins fan that was excited. Like, there's a lot of shit, mostly online, that I've been seeing.
Because they went for years shitting on Wentz when he was with the Eagles.
Right.
Yeah,
now you got him.
I love Heineke to death. Seems like a cool guy.
He's not it.
Wentz is way better than that dude.
Yeah.
You talking about Heineke?
Yeah.
Heineke got the moxie though.
He got the moxie.
I think what they said about
it's cool, but the moxie doesn't win games alone.
Right. But what they've said about Wentz and his issue is that he doesn't have the connection with his teammates.
Right.
So everybody's looking for this Joe Burrow-esque like connection where this guy could connect to the fucking kicker, to the wide receiver, to the running back. Everybody on the team loves. When I watch Hard Knocks, I didn't remember seeing Carson Wentz with anybody outside of the team. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the knock on him was when he was in Philadelphia. And that's the reason why they say Nick Foles really propelled that team, or the team got behind Nick Foles, because he had a connection with everybody. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing about being a quarterback. I mean, I don't know. It's probably at least about 40% of the job is just being able to relate. And guys being able to trust you. You know what I'm saying? It's part of leadership and shit. And it's like, I think he just expected to come in like, yo, I'm the big dick around here. Everybody gonna bow down to me and shit. Right. But it's like, you gotta learn you gotta serve before you can lead type shit. Like, people gotta know that you're gonna be there for them. And that's the way they'll be there for you type thing. So I don't think he's ever grasped that part of the game, is that I got to be more relatable to guys, and guys got to really fuck with me to trust me on the field and go that extra mile for me and shit like that. Even if I'm sucking, they gonna be like, yo, we got his fucking back. That's on some T.O., that's my quarterback type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
You're not gonna get that relation from anybody who's associated or played with Carson Wentz. They don't have that type of relationship with them or anything like that. So, it's hard to say at this point. He's a fucking grown ass man that would develop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, unlikely.
No, it's not unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
It's just not who he is as a person.
He is what he is.
Doesn't make you a bad person. Just he's not a leader, or doesn't appear to be a leader, from what we know.
And I mean, that should put you a backup quarterback. And I get that he's talented enough to possibly be a starter, but at that point, I think you're looking at a career backup. And I could be wrong.
I'd take him again.
But we expected him to flip the switch.
I think he'll still be a starter. He's just going to be a journeyman.
But we expected him to flip the switch with the Colts and say, oh, this is a great decision for both teams at the beginning of the season. Like, maybe we can get the wins that we were expecting. And it's just, it hasn't happened. So, I don't know.
Well, let's keep it moving. That was a long sport, so we had a lot of stuff to cover, I know, but we still got plenty of music stuff to get into as well.
A lot of music.
What do you want to start with here? You want to start with Mr. Dirk?
Should we start with Dirk, or we go with the Baby and Young Boy? What else that happened last week?
I mean, all of it's kind of tied in.
Yeah, go for it. Doesn't matter. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's all tied.
Start with Baby and Young Boy. They had an album come out last Friday.
Last week.
So 2 Fridays ago. If you're listening to this right now,
that King Von dropped his album.
Yep.
They dropped. So the title of their album
was Where It Stems.
What is it? King Von's album is called What It Means to Be King or whatever. And they dropped an album called Better Than You. And
didn't realize
that stems off a whole like
Jesus.
The YB fans and shit, they do this trolling thing where they go on people's page and just randomly post YB better and shit. Like, you could just be talking about crypto. These motherfuckers are popping up on your YB's better. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So these are just trolling. So I guess that's what gave them the motivation, the title with that.
This shit
But it has to be something. You can't tell me it wasn't planned to drop it on the same day that King Von was dropping his album. To me,
I don't know. You
could have dropped any other
It looks
time.
good. Look, when you put it like that, the album titles in the same day. I don't know if it was necessarily planned, but at the same
dropped it
time,
at any time though.
Well, let's start with the album. The album was good. I like the album. It's pretty decent. No, it didn't sell that well, but I thought it was it's a fairly good album. But I think the baby, he feels like he can be outside of a beef because he wasn't involved with it. But you have to be aware that doing a joint album with YB, you're going to have issues with the other side while he's going through a beef. You have to be aware of that. That's just how the game is. Like, however you want to distinguish it, once you team up with somebody, it's like you're picking sides.
Yeah, you linked up to this.
Him and Dirk have never necessarily worked together, but you basically saying you're picking a side at this point, even if you're not technically. But so you got a lot of backlash from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of people, especially I think this guy Mimo 600 or whatever his name is. He's a O Block affiliate or OTF member.
Yeah,
and he went and posted on social media that the baby thought that this boy was gonna save his career after the projected sales numbers kind of came out. King Von was projected to do like 65K, and surprisingly, two of the biggest artists in the rap game, hands down, probably at least both of them in the top 5, only projected to sell, or I think they landed selling like 27,000 first week. I thought that was the biggest surprise for me. And I listened to a few tracks or whatever, but I was just expecting this like astronomical type of number to come out because even with no promo, they announced it like a week before or whatever, but people knew that shit was coming down the pipelines, especially after they had dropped that one single like a couple months ago that hit shit or whatever. You knew some shit like that was kind of coming or whatever, and they've worked together in the past before. They got that jump single as well too from a couple years back. So
I think that no promo thing matters a lot though.
Kinda, but NBA YoungBoy drops with no promo all the time and does numbers by himself.
It might be one of them things because, like, I don't know if I can speak. I'm not speaking for YoungBoy fans, but what I see, it seems like YoungBoy fans just fuck with YoungBoy. They don't want to hear YoungBoy with the baby or with whoever else he does with, and he don't really do no records with nobody unless they like OGs he done songs with or whatever. So it's like, maybe his fan base wasn't really fucking with him doing a project with the baby.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's a reasonable.
That's possible, but I would need to go back and look.
Because most of his shit is just him.
He just puts out songs. I would like to go back and see what the Birdman YoungBoy tape did versus this one as well too, because that was a joint project as well too. So well. And when I first seen the numbers, I was like, that's surprising for sure. But maybe it's a case where they only had like 5 songs on the album or something, and that's why the streaming numbers are so low.
It was only like 10, wasn't it?
Nah, that shit was like 15 tracks.
It's a full album.
Yeah, it's a lot of tracks. So I'm thinking like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like
12.
Oh well, yeah, there you go. 12. That's a full album's
worth. Yeah, no, like it's short.
So I mean, just super surprising.
That is surprising
that it did that. But yeah, I mean, so that dude Mimo 600 or 300, whatever the fuck his name is, he jumps on and starts talking about the baby, and the baby has this long Instagram post that he responds with, pretty much saying like, "Hey, your big homie in my inbox right now, waving the white flag. You guys got to keep it cool. I ain't in no beef with nobody, but." I mean, I'm summarizing. I don't know exactly what he said, but pretty much saying like, "Hey, if y'all want problems, whatever.
Y'all towel boy ass niggas."
Yeah, right. He called them towel boys and shit. But I mean, you're a part of it now. Ultimately,
yeah, you got to be aware, man.
Yeah,
you know he going through this beef with them.
He plays stupid a lot.
Why get into this kid game?
Plays dumb a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot going on with that. I see your boy Cowboy. He been on the baby's ass the last few days and shit. And I mean, what he's saying is correct. It's just like, bro, you gotta pretty much exactly what we were just talking about. Yeah. Like, you gotta be aware that you doing a tape with this dude is aligning yourself with him. Don't tell me that you got respect for Von. Because that's what he said in the Breakfast Club interview. Like, I got respect for Von and all this stuff. But you do a tape with YoungBoy, and that's not the issue. The issue to me is that you knowingly dropped on the same day that Von's album was dropping.
Right.
And that's who dropped when Pop Smoke dropped. You know what I'm saying? Who dropped when Juice WRLD dropped? People kind of respect those dates to be like, hey.
People drop, but they won't go through a beef.
Not anybody that was with animosity.
Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying? You let that ride. And I feel like it's calculated in a way. you knew what was happening. Like Von's album was, we knew, everybody knew what day it was dropping. And then you just say all of a sudden out the blue, oh, we dropping a mixtape together. And that shit coming out this date.
Yeah.
The same day. You know, to me, that's calculated and you knew it was up.
Using Von's name is so corny. It was corny to begin with, but now it's like it's going on for too long.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to try to make Dirk mad says it, and vice versa. Like his name just gets thrown around, and anybody that wants a little bit of attention, it's so corny at this point.
Yeah, it's
so corny.
Let that man rest.
Yeah, it's over with, man.
I mean, you know, in fairness, Von ain't let a lot of people's names rest, so.
That's true.
That's fair.
In
That's
turn,
fair. I think it's corny when he did it too.
Right.
But
Look,
that's
it is what it is.
That's a good point.
This is, you know, energy never dies type shit just circulates. So this is what you get. But yeah, I think it was certainly like the baby. Don't tell me you weren't aware that this was going to happen. Knowing that y'all was dropping on the same day.
Did y'all watch that Breakfast Club interview?
I watched some of it.
I did.
I only saw clips, and look, I'm very open that I'm not very biased on the. I'm very biased on the situation. I don't see things clearly with the baby.
Right.
But all of his response, it just was so like I said, it just felt like he tried to play dumb with everything. Like specifically the Meg question. I don't remember exactly what his answer was, but he like almost made it seem like I have no idea why she would be upset. Like we're still cool. We could do music. You don't have to we don't have to be friends. We still give money. We give music.
Talk.
The Tory song.
What we got to talk about?
It's just like, bro, you got it. You know, but like you know different than that.
In his defense, he had recorded that song with him prior to their situation.
Okay.
So the song was already done. It's not like he did the song afterwards.
I got you.
So whenever Tory decided to put it out, it's on Tory. Like he had already cleared the record. It's like,
I mean,
that's what it is.
But it's just
he
like
don't owe anything to Megan to not put on a song with Tory.
I'm not saying he does, but I just it annoys me when like
you play stupid about it.
You know
it's going to be some kind of backlash from the other side. That's exactly. It's the same situation.
He leans into I'm gonna do whatever I want.
This is going to happen.
So if you're gonna lean into I do whatever I want, nobody can tell me what to do. Well, you asked about it. Just say that too.
Yeah. I don't know if
he like coy.
I don't know if he's playing dumb. I think he just feels like because he seems to me as he's kind of a solid person. I think he believes I can be real in the social media world when not knowing like anything you do is going to be perceived as what it is. No matter where you're actually standing at it, the internet is going to take it for what it is. Like you dropping on King Von's Day, they don't think, oh, you siding with Youngboy now. You dropped the song with Tory after she going through her shit. Oh, you siding with Tory now. That's just how people going to take this shit. And you got to realize that in this game, it don't matter where you actually stand. It's what you do and how people going to take it and run with it. And that's what happens every time. He got to be more aware of that.
Yeah. I didn't, his response to the Danny Lee's brother shit, that was kind of funny.
It was funny. It was funny. It made me laugh.
It's like I was terrified.
It's mad childish. It was funny though.
I was terrified.
Like, he scared to death.
He continued.
He didn't let up. And you kind of got to do that because he's under a lawsuit behind it now and stuff like that. So.
It was a funny way to answer.
I
laughed at it for sure.
I mean, honestly, I like the baby as far as like his personality and stuff goes. I think he's gonna have a long career. I think it's beyond rap. I've always thought that, I think his vision or ultimately he'll be like a figure as far as like, I think he should do movies and TV shows and shit like that. Not saying that leave music behind, but I think he can be so much bigger than just music alone.
I think
I'm glad you have to take his change on that.
Huh?
I'm glad you take his change on that.
I've always said that. Didn't I always say he should do movies?
That part he's always been on.
Maybe
I'll say that.
You say he won't go last a year if he ain't change up his music
in the rap game.
Right. I think the creativity wise, I agree with you. Like,
He's
I
really
understand
good at that
he
shit.
has the creative ability to step outside of rap. It does seem like I question if he has the ability to fit in enough to do that.
He's always going to do some of the baby shit.
In music, you can do your own way a little bit more and be able to get away with that because certain people are going to rock with the music anyway. It is what it is. I think when you get into like working on things that require other people to also be a part of the project, like a movie would, it's going to be harder to just say, I'm doing the baby and y'all got to get on board. It could happen. I mean, he might be able to push through that, but I see that being a possible issue.
I mean, he kind of worked for 50. 50 ain't really conform or nothing.
He didn't, but I
50
think
is still say whatever the fuck he wants type shit.
On the internet, I think he handles business pretty well.
Yeah, I think he's
outside.
I think he knows when to be professional. I haven't seen that with the baby. He seems to have a little bit more of a younger maturity image of I just do whatever the
50
fuck.
50 Cent was throwing chairs at a dude like last year at a restaurant type shit. No, the dude did. I'm just saying,
somebody he working with though.
But I'm just saying,
harassing him while
there are similar personalities when it comes to that type of aspect. Like I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want, do whatever the fuck I want type person. So I think they can still merge into these other industries and deal with these different people and stuff like that while still being himself. Now, does he have to tailor it a little bit? Sure.
Yeah.
But I think you'll still see the baby being himself regardless and having a lot of success with it in the future. So
that'd be good.
Yeah.
But figure it out.
Moving on to, I guess we could push forward to Dirk.
7220 album drop yesterday.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard to get used to. Doing back recording on Saturday mornings. Is that new music is going to have literally just dropped.
Yeah, for sure. You had a chance to really necessarily sit with it.
We might have to, moving forward, be on like the previous week's music. You know what I'm saying? But let's get to it. Vaughn or Dirk.
Well, Dirk, yeah.
17 tracks, mostly him. Few features sprinkled in. Solid album. Shit was hard body, front to back, and I ain't have no skips on it.
Yeah, I think you can play it all the way through. I like it. I would say I think I do like his previous album, his last album more than this one. I think that one's a little bit better, but I think this one is. Shout out to his engineer.
With the John with Lil Baby?
Huh?
The John with Lil Baby?
The one before that.
No, the one his solo album that he dropped. I forgot what was it called. The Voice. Yeah, I think that was
the combo album.
What you mean?
That was the Baby album, or
not the
Lil Baby one.
No, that was the voice of the Heroes.
Voice of the Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, Dirk is the voice. That's like been his brand for a while.
Yeah, like the voice of the streets.
Yeah.
That one I like more. I think that was a better album overall. But I think, like I said, shout out to his engineer on this one. I think they worked their ass off. Some really good sounding tracks on here. Overall, like I said, I like it. I gotta sit with it more. But initially, I think it's more like one note ish. Like I'm looking for a little bit more versatility, but I do like the overall project.
I think Dirk was doing what Dirk do. I think in this album,
right. That's what I get.
Yeah, Dirk doing what Dirk do,
and
I think with this album, this is the album he was presenting to all his new fans that he's acquired in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So he's bringing them back to the roots. He's telling stories about how he came up in this game and stuff he went through and why he talks about the things he talks about. So it's more like a reintroduction type of album, it seems like to me. 7220, that's like part of his grandma's address in Chicago where he grew up, block or whatever. So it's more so like reintroducing himself to all his new fans he's got since he's like blown up in the past 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a solid project. I don't think Dirk, over the years, I haven't heard a bad Dirk project to me. He put solid projects together, and this is another one.
And it's going to go stupid. It's going to do way more better numbers than The Voice did.
Of course, because he's on his high right now.
Initially, right out the gate, his fan base at this point is really huge, and I think he's going to do some crazy numbers with this one as well. But off top, I think my favorite songs are, of course, the single that he released, the Aha one. Mm-hmm. And I really like that What Happened to Virgil shit.
That's a solid.
My God.
That's solid. I like Head Taps, No Interviews is hard. Barbarian, like that joint with Future too.
The joint with Future is pretty tough.
I like that Smoking and Thinking joint too. That joint is a vibe.
That's all right. That's all right.
Vibe.
No doubt.
But yeah, solid album all the way through, pretty much.
And he had to throw the Broadway Girls thing on there because that shit been streaming.
He did put that at the end.
That shit been streaming.
He did.
So you got to put that on.
Got to get those numbers.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that. But yeah, solid project, man. Dirk did his thing.
You did watch some of that $1 million worth of Game?
Yeah, I watched it yesterday.
Yeah,
caught a lot of clips, but I didn't watch it like in
really good interview because I always like seeing interviews from rappers that don't do interviews. Like Dirk doesn't.
You don't really see him do anything.
You don't really hear him talk pretty much either. The only time you hear him is when he's rapping.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear him talk and speak on different things, situations they talking about. He's a funny dude. Like he gets little jokes off, but he's like you can tell he's like. You can feel the solidness in him, especially just the aesthetic of how they did it in Chicago in the trenches in the hood with all his OTF people were saying it behind him, and his artists and shit beside him. It's like you could just see the solidness in him and why people look at him the way they look at him and treat him how they treat him. Because he's just a solid dude. He takes care of his people. He always holds down his own.
You see the backlash he's getting from that?
What you mean?
Interview?
What backlash?
Like on social media, I guess. For what he said.
What
about?
Just about the body count?
Yeah, about his girl.
I did see that.
They said, you know, what really did for him is the body count, and it's like, hello, you don't know this is how guys think? I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? It is just
a lot of people are lying, like, I don't care about your past. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you fucking do. If you find out about some girl's past and you dealing with it, it's kind
that
of
shit
treacherous.
hurt your feelings, dog.
Yeah.
That shit gonna hurt your feelings, bro. Stop it.
I fuck with the answer because he was being honest.
Yeah, for sure.
If you honest, you're gonna lie to yourself and think if you found out that they fucked this dude, and this dude that you know, it's like, it's gonna make you feel a type of way.
we can only go so far with this. I think it's wild to act like that's a surprising stance to have.
Right.
I do think there's a legitimate point to, if you're out smashing everybody, then I don't think you really have like too much of a right to be mad if she was too. But I understand that men and women are a little bit different on that and stuff. Like I get the response
specifically, like to you being my girl, to me being in a relationship with you.
Yeah,
like when he was talking about hoes, so he was like, I said, hey, it's what it is, whatever.
We can have fun.
But if you my girl, I gotta know like how you been moving out here because I'm in the industry.
Right. Exactly.
If I know you been fucking all my rapper boys.
I
can't wife you. I can't have you be on the side of me.
Studio and shit with me. You just smashed two niggas in a row.
That's an uncomfortable thing.
I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's an ego thing, for sure. Yeah. But like shit, you gotta feed my ego, or else I'm gonna feed it myself. Like, you don't want me to do that type shit.
Right.
So look, it's just one of the things that's back in the day, men wanted virgins type shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something that's never been thought of or not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's normal for men to think this way. I think so. I don't get all of the backlash and stuff, but
I wouldn't want no virgins, but maybe.
I'm just saying in perspective of type shit. Like, of course, we've evolved.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing out here. You gotta know how you're moving out here.
For sure. But men want something they feel like is almost special. I think everybody does necessarily. Like, not necessarily. Like,
I don't think it's that different.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, I think everybody does.
Yeah, right.
I think a lot of women have accepted that that's not going to be the case, so they're going to have a very
women don't care.
Narrow.
Women don't care about that.
I wouldn't say. I'm sure
most of them
don't. Some of them don't. I don't think that's the case, and I think it may be like more of a realization that I would strongly prefer that not be the case, but. If my selection is down to this many people now,
it is what
because that's my standard, then I gotta kind of got to get over it.
On the flip side, not to speak for women, I think they like a guy that gets sought out by bad people.
Yeah, right.
They like the guy that's attractive that people want.
Women want the man that every woman wants. That's it. Women want what other women have.
I got that's a friend. True, but women are not logical. They want.
We need a woman to speak on this shit. We probably shouldn't be speaking on this.
They want that. They want somebody that's sought out by all the other women, but they don't necessarily want the dude that has been with every single one.
Yeah, maybe not.
It is a thing. Like one of my homeboys, he's married for a few years now. He's like literally, he feels like women have been on him more when they know that he's married. Right. Because it's like, I guess in the woman's side, they're saying like, oh, he's solid. He's going to lock that. Like,
they think of security at that point. Like, oh, you married. You can take care of kids. Oh, you can, you know what I'm saying? Like, they think like this is what runs through a woman's head when they see that type of stuff. Like, oh, you can make a commitment. Right. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Type shit. So,
I think most people like forbidden fruit as well.
True. Yeah.
True. Anything that's off limits is kind of intriguing.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's just mindset wise that men and women are different when it comes to things.
Yeah, we'll keep it moving on that because we got more to get to here. I did want to. We still finished Dirk.
Yeah, but so I want to talk about more of the interview and shit. The Wallow moment and shit in the interview, man.
That was solid.
It's powerful, man. I think Wallow has really become like one of my favorite like interviewers or like podcast.
Just personalities.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
It's something the game was missing.
Yeah, right.
We needed something that catered to the young guys and tell them the right way to move.
You gotta understand, like, and it, like when you said about when they interviewed Kodak or whatever, I said I think he'll relate to Wallow because he know how to talk to niggas because he'd have been, you know what I'm saying,
He's been through it.
We've been through it, but he done seen these young niggas come in and out of the jail cell before and stuff like that too. So he knows how to relate to them and stuff like that. And you can tell. And all he wants is for them to grow and get out of this mindset that he was in, you know what I'm saying, for so long of his life, and just trying to get that light to turn on. And like the thing that he said that kind of impacted me the most on the podcast is like, man, if these niggas wake up in the inner city, in the ghetto and shit like that, like if they could wake up and just use that energy for something else, like it could be a powerful thing. Like, you know what I'm saying, we could change the world, you know what I'm saying? And that's the fact. Like we got so many motherfuckers like out there like run up millions of dollars in the streets. It's like, what could they do if they were taught the stock market and shit like that at an early age? It's like niggas been bagging up dope since they was 6 years old, but what if they was invested and stuff like that since that time, you know?
Mentality.
You can't tell me these motherfuckers ain't smart, you know what I'm saying, or educated or whatever. It's just what they choose or kind of is by circumstance almost. A
lot of them just don't
forced
know,
into, you know.
A lot of them just don't know anything outside their neighborhood.
And why would
That's
they?
all they know.
But you know what I'm saying? Why would they? It's just like, what do you look up to type shit? Like, I look up to the dude across the street that get all of the bitches, drive all of the fancy cars and stuff like that. Like, this is who the hood love and shit like that. Like, so why wouldn't I want to be that growing up?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, you gotta break the law in order to be that. And like they don't see it as that. That's just
what it
way
is.
of life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and like if we could possibly, you know, maybe it'll take a group of people, but you know, get them to think differently. It would change the world for sure. At least, you know, for them in the inner cities and stuff like that. And I think that was the thing that impacted me the most. What Wallow was talking about. When
it was that one line for me when he's like, "When I let that hurt go, I started to grow. I started to glow." I was like, "Oh shit, Wallow, you talking that shit right now?"
Yeah, I mean, he's been real. It's like, yo, sometimes you gotta let that shit go. It can't always be. You can't live your life based on revenge, because again, you wasted so much energy on that shit.
Yeah.
Like, what else could you be doing? You know what I'm saying? And if you put that same kind of energy into it, it could be something special. You could change the world for real, instead of just trying to, like, with the people in the hood and shit, they think so small because, again, they don't know it's a whole big, like, that hood is their world type shit. Niggas they want to run their block type shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, bro, you could fucking, I don't know, you could run a business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You could own anything in this fucking world. You think so small when it comes to that. So I think it was a conversation that needed to be had, and like hopefully it resonates with a lot of people around the world. And I think that interview is definitely doing numbers. So I'm hoping it influences a lot of people when they see that clip.
Yeah,
I thought it was one of the dopest clips I've ever seen, honestly, because like you were talking about the whole aesthetic of the pod and everything. We got 40, 50 goons behind him. And this dude, like, just put his heart out there, got mad vulnerable, crying.
Some shit that they all can relate to, losing a family member. And feeling like you got to retaliate.
So I got so much respect for him just putting his heart out there and doing what he thinks is necessary and what he thinks is right and that kind of thing. Plus, I love the message that he had. To be honest with you, I had a hard time. I didn't care for the album that much. I thought it sounded good. Like, the music sounds great. Don't get me wrong. And if I just throw it on while I'm working and stuff, like, you kind of get a little head bob to it and that kind of thing. But I can't look past the lyrics. I don't have the ability to do what Wallow does.
He says some wild shit.
Wallow has, I think, because of having gone through everything, he has like the even higher level of empathy and understanding that I can't even get to. I don't want to say I look down on Dirk or anybody that's dealing with the stuff that they're dealing with, but I can't hear the album and not think about how he's encouraging the behavior still. Like, for other people that are sitting at home listening to it. Everybody else wants to be Dirk because of where he's at and stuff, the status he's earned at this point. And, you know, almost every song he's talking about going to kill somebody or like running up on the ops. I understand that's part of the music and that kind of thing. But to a kid that's 10 years old, that's like kind of flirting with the lifestyle or whatever, you can't listen to this and not be like, I want to be like Dirk. So I just can't disconnect that. I have a really hard time doing it. And I respect that Wallow's able to. I think it's dope how when they start the interviews, they're always like dancing and rocking to the person's music, even though they're talking about all the stuff that like Wallow was saying. You know, we gotta, if you can move past
because
it,
he
like,
understands
trying to encourage them past.
Right. He understands the point in their life where they're at and shit. So I get what you're saying from that standpoint, but it's just like I think you got to reel them in first. You know what I'm saying? Before you could even start to talk about, because if you start talking about people, I don't want to hear this preachy shit. Like, people got to grow up first before they accept that.
You got to understand that they rock with you. So
I'm saying I give Wallow the props because he knows how to do that.
Yeah.
From an outside perspective, I don't have that ability as well as I would like to, at least. And I'm just listening to the album. I'm not trying to help somebody that's dealing with that right now. I understand you've got to feed them first before you can start trying to help somebody. But I don't know, man. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, and I just can't let go of I can't support the young boy energy that's just wilding, because I know better.
But you love drug dealer rap.
I do.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same vein.
No doubt.
I think it's like
same system or beast.
100%.
I understand how you feeling about it, but I think like,
you know,
Dirk does talk about that, and that's why I'm glad he didn't have a lot of those aha tracks on there. Because you listen to a song like Smoking and Thinking, he's really contemplating things that I guess a street kid can understand. Like, I'm thinking about my kids, my family. Why did they have to kill my man? Like, things of a mentality that's street. That's why they call themselves the voice. He's speaking for everybody that doesn't have that voice to speak about these type of things. And you can, it's almost like a way of therapy when you listen to Dirk's music, just to understand the mentality of what somebody's going through, how they deal with it, how they maneuver through it. You know, so it's just, I don't know. It just depends on how you look at it.
No, I agree with you. And I like I said, I'm not trying to look down on anybody else or his music or whatever. You make a great point, and I was thinking about that earlier too. That I know that there are things that I'm not as sensitive to that are just as bad, or support a just as bad message. Yeah. I think the way I can disconnect the two with that type of coke rap stuff is most of the people that I listen to are older. Like a Pusha T.
Yeah.
So I consider his music is more for my generation.
Right.
Where if you're 30 years old, I have less concern about you being influenced. Like, at that point, it's your own fault if you're still not making better decisions.
Right.
I think of Dirk as being stuff that 11-year-olds are listening to.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, it's hypocritical to accept one and be like, I'm not really feeling this other. But I got nothing bad to say about the music.
Essentially, this is the product of the coke rap. This is what comes next. You got people that's in the streets wilding now.
And we were listening to this when we were 14.
Right.
Like, we were listening to clips talking the same shit that he's saying now back then. Mm-hmm. So
Jeezy.
It is what it is.
You know what I'm saying? We used to love that shit.
Yep.
I had a hard time.
We was wearing snowman fucking apparel to school.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So
it kind of all depends on how you adapt it. I feel like, I know blatantly it's like they're talking about drugs, they're talking about street shit, killing people. But it's like, I feel like a lot more people that's not in that life listening to that music is like a motivation type of shit. Like, it just puts you in a mood or a mode. Not even if you're not doing what they talking about in the songs, but you can apply it to your life. It's like a mentality almost. I'm just trying to make it, just trying to do what you got to do. To make it through life type shit.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's always you can relate, but again, I guess everybody is shining the light, but it's just, you got to be real about it. It's like, yo, this is actually what's going on. Like, it's entertainment to a certain point, but this is actually what happens out here. And
from a real place.
People be so fucked up in the streets, fucked up about it too. Like, they don't know any other way. Motherfuckers will go home, go to jail, and come back out and do the same shit.
No other options.
Like, legit, yo, my cousin, I grew up with this dude. We were 7 years old, bro. My mom asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up. He said he wanted to be a thug. He already had his mind set up on that at 7 years old. Motherfucker did 13 years in prison. Came home, was maybe out for a year or so, but he got into some trouble. Somebody called the cops on him. And he went on this high-speed chase from the police and shit. And to the point where, he didn't want to go back to jail at all. And motherfuckers shooting his gun at the police and shit. And he gets to a point where he knows he's going to get caught, turns the gun on himself, kills himself. And that's how fucked up people be about the streets and shit. Like, they can't even, it's like, you don't want to go back to jail. You know the shit that you're doing is going to force you back to jail.
Stuck in the cycle.
You know, you're stuck in the fucking cycle type thing. And that's just what it is and what they deal with. Like, I don't know. So,
yeah. No, I mean, I understand. That makes sense.
Product of the environment, well, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad all the way around because you can see the cycle. You can see the cycle happen. The more that it happens, the more that it's going to continue. And there's really no like logical way to break it, which is why I think, you know, Wallo's situation is so impactful because you have to do something outside of the box to break it. And, you know, if he hadn't become as popular as he is like on social media and stuff, I would imagine, you know, people that try to do what he's doing, I think a lot of times would get made fun of, at least initially. Yeah. Or like be looked at like a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what are you talking about? Like, this is what we do. This is how things go. But because he blew up and gained the popularity and respect and so forth, like he's able to say these things and have an impact differently. But people that try to do what he's doing, a lot of times are not listened to. It's seen as like,
corny.
You're corny. You're a loser.
Like, you don't understand. But he does understand. And like what he's saying, like, yo, if I would have did what I wanted to do, I wouldn't be here for y'all today to give y'all this game. So I want y'all to think about that shit, like, before y'all act on these things. Like, look, hey, now I'm here. I could take care of my nieces, my nephews and shit. And I wouldn't be able to do that. Like I said, I mean, the arc of his life is remarkable. You know what I'm saying? You really got to think about that. This motherfucker did
25 years.
Yeah, he's been in jail longer than he's been outside. You know what I'm saying? His mind is institutionalized.
11 years old. Point. Say he's been incarcerated.
Right. You know, so and that's the fucked up thing about it overall is that, again, and to really stop the cycle of this shit, we would have to break down the system, and I don't know if that would ever happen necessarily. It's set up for these motherfuckers to go in, come out, and go back in. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no kind of reform in there. You go out there, you go in there, and link up with other criminals to become a better criminal. You know what I'm saying? To you know what I'm saying, or to continue to do the things. You linking up with this motherfucker when you get outside to do more criminal activity. There's no reform into it, so
they call it a rehabilitation centers, but ain't no rehabilitation.
No, you know what I'm saying? You're making people coming out worse than they went in.
Yeah.
So you know, for Wallo to be able to come out better is an amazing story, but that's just not the case for everybody. And he's trying to give them that game before it's too late, and that's a special thing for sure. But it's a bigger conversation that involves, you know, systematic oppression and all types of shit like that too, you know. So, yeah, for sure.
Yes, indeed. Button that up.
Running close on time here.
Yeah.
What do we want to cover last? Probably got time for like one more thing, really, topic-wise, maybe two if it's short.
We could throw out some new music that came out a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Coke rap,
to be honest with you,
Benny the Butcher dropped Talk 4.
What
dropped yesterday. I mean, I think it was pretty solid. I like the album. It's pretty cool. It's Benny doing Benny shit.
I was mad disappointed, not in the music, and not in Benny, but I was just mad disappointed when I seen the track list of producers. No, not even that. I liked what he did. I thought it was a creative idea to add on to the 10 Crack Commandments 11 through 20. Yeah. A really creative idea, honestly. But no, as soon as I saw the track list and the producer had Derringer's name all over it, on almost every track, I knew what it was. And when I listened to it, like, he's rapping his ass off as always. It was cool. There's a few songs I'll probably continue to listen to, but I'm so over those beats.
That's what it is,
that
man.
Sound of beat. When he did the Hit Boy album, it was absolutely fire, of course.
That's what I was.
When he does the Harry Fraud beats, I think he sounds amazing on those. I just can't get with that.
That's what I listened to the album, and I was like, that's what it's a bunch of cypher beats. I don't want to hear that necessarily on a daily basis. Like,
I hate that slow tempo shit.
Like, you know, it's cool if you like listen to a motherfucker freestyle or something like that, or like you just tuning in for one time. Oh, this motherfucker killed it. Right. But am I going to repeat this over? I'm probably not.
I think it just falls into like, we've had this debate a lot. This is why he became who he was by making this music. This is why he got to the point where he is. So it's like, you don't ever want to leave that.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to just discard that like that was never you or that's never the music you
Not
did.
saying that.
You always want to come back to that. And this is a
though.
Tenor Talk 4. If you know his Tenor Talk series, it's been these beats, been these songs. You're not going to make it a new type, make it all these hype producers on a Tenor Talk joint.
Right.
You know what
I don't have any problem with him doing it, particularly with it being the fourth of the series.
Yeah.
That's not the Benny that I'm going to listen to.
Okay.
But like you said, I mean, that's what his core fan base is.
Yeah.
Or that's what the people that blew him up on. So you got to
into this game doing shit that nobody was doing no more.
Yeah. You got to continue to feed them. I'll catch the next plugs I'm at, and I'll listen to the other albums and stuff. I'm not mad he did it, but as a fan, personally, I was like, oh man, I wish we were catching some other beats. But it is what it is. That J. Cole song is hard. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. I liked it when it came out, but the more I hear it, I'm like, yo, that joint is fire.
Yeah, they snapped on that shit.
J. Cole always like to remind a motherfucker, don't bring me on for a feature. Every chance he get, he gonna remind you, hey, I will eat this motherfucker up if he put me on a feature.
He killed it.
Yeah, he would have. For sure.
I really like that Ace Hood project.
Yeah,
so you said good. That was a couple of weeks ago. We might have just overlooked it, but I think I had mentioned like a month or two back when he put out this single "Glory."
Yeah,
that joint was hard. And listening through the album, I thought like there's only 10 tracks, and 2 of them are like talking, not intro. What's the word I'm looking for? Interlude. Skit type shit. So there's only 8 real songs, and I probably really liked 6 of them. I liked all 8, but 6 of them I was like, that's fire. It's a quick 24-minute listen through all 10 tracks, so not very long, but I was very impressed. He's on a whole spiritual mindset, deep type stuff.
He's been solid. I know he probably been independent for a while now since he left Khaled, so people don't really check for him no more. But Ace has always made pretty decent music to me. Made solid projects, especially his mixtapes.
I know quite a few people that are like really big fans of his.
Right.
I never listened to his music that much beyond the big songs that everybody knows. Solid. But maybe I missed out. I don't know.
Yeah, he's solid. Just independent, working the independent grind. You don't get that promo that you use.
That motherfucker be sounding like he's sweating when he rapped on him. He's working hard. God damn.
That's why giving it up.
That's why he cut up. This one. He's working out.
Every ball is like hitting the crunch.
He's a Florida guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
From your boys' city, Broward County.
Oh yeah. He's from Broward for sure. Yeah.
Man, then what else we got? You want to get hit on Slaughterhouse a little bit? You say you checked out the album?
Yeah,
half of Slaughterhouse.
I listened to the album. I liked it. It was cool. I try to keep it real quick. All week I was watching their back and forths, like when Royce and Joe they had like an hour-long IG live, and then Joel caught on in the last 15 minutes or something.
Yeah.
My take on all of it is, I think, I tried to say this last time, I wasn't putting it together well. Quick summary, I think Joe has always shown that if he feels undervalued or not appreciated, he's willing to walk away from a situation. Like he did with Complex, he did with Shady and Slaughterhouse situation. Like that's his MO. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In all honesty, I have a respect for the way that he sticks to his morals and won't compromise on that.
Yeah.
I think when you're in a group setting, whether his intention or not was to like have any negative impact on the group, his decision to step away and refuse to rap on Shady, it impacts the other 3, regardless of what his intent was. And I think Crook the most took offense to that.
Probably, yeah.
Or really felt hurt by the fact that we don't get to make music as a group anymore because you did what you wanted to do. And throughout the 8.5 years or whatever, up until now, I think that animosity continued to simmer between the 2 of them.
Of course.
And then it seems like, from what I've heard from both sides, it seems like once they got out of the deal, Crook thought, all right, bet, we're making music now. Let's get this popping. He had a couple of deals that he brought to the table that they weren't feeling. And the vibe that I get is he feels like he brought deals to the table and Joe just said no without really providing like a recourse of maybe we could do this instead. And it seems like him and Joel took that as, dog, we've waited this much time for you to finally get to where you need to make music, and now you're still not making music. And one of the key points that they got to arguing on that IG Live was Royce was like, Joel, when did Joe say he won't rap? And Joel stumbled all over the place trying to answer the question.
Yeah.
It was clear that Joe has never outright said, I will not rap anymore.
Yeah. Which I come back, I think I said that last week. I kept bringing up a tire point. Listen to the podcast. He's been speaking on it. He never said that he was never going to rap.
Right.
He just didn't like the business in which they was doing at the time for what Dad was presented. And he wanted, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was always a business issue with Joe. But I think if the business was right, he would have rapped again.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
But I think at a certain point, there's like when you already have animosity with somebody, and it's like your actions speak louder than words. So you may not have said, I'm not going to rap again with you guys, but if I feel like I'm putting in all of this effort to get the group back together, it's been over a year now that we've been off the label and it still isn't happening, your actions aren't like showing that you're fully invested in this. And then at that point, to be honest with you, now that I finally thought through everything and got to hear both sides, got that off my chest, because I still have problems with Joe, just what I think about him personally. I do think they ended up making this messy afterwards, out of hurt.
Yeah.
I fully push back on the idea that they're clout chasing and trying to use Joe's name for publicity. I think they are very hurt and decided, fuck y'all. If we're not doing music, I'm doing music. And I'm going to say everything I felt. Because there's stuff on here that they won't ever rap again. Not like nasty disses, but they aired out shit that you wouldn't air out, or you shouldn't air out if you're still
good with somebody.
And that's what makes it corny.
So I understand that.
I understand y'all try to get y'all rap shit off. Y'all keep blanketed around. This is what the fans want. This is what the fans. No, this is what y'all wanted. This is what y'all wanted to do.
I think that's fair.
So stop putting it on. Oh, the fans been asking for it. It's been 10 years, bro. The fans ain't really tripping like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's a little bit of an excuse. I do think the fans have been asking, but their real reason is because they're mad and they want to get this off.
And even if I agree with that, even if I had a problem with you, you know what I'm saying, and being that we boys and shit, I'm not gonna go on social media and tell everybody what the fuck our problems.
Put an album out based on it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We gonna settle it out as boys, and it is what it is after that. But
and even if
we don't come to an understanding,
like create a new name, like do something different, and y'all just be a group if y'all still want to rap and be together or something. But don't keep putting the Slaughterhouse logo and the Slaughterhouse symbol, and you're building something off of something that all four of y'all created.
Yeah,
that's where it becomes nasty. It's like, all right, but what are you doing really here? You're trying to hurt the other side of the group that's not lining up with you right now. It's basically what it is.
I don't disagree with that. I think Joe has skirted some responsibility or is not really held accountable for how his actions may have impacted the group. But I don't think his intentions were to fuck the group over.
Right.
I just think the way what he decided to do ended up fucking the group over a little bit. But you know, it is. I hate to see it because honestly, like as a fan of the group, if I ranked them as my favorite rappers, it would be Royce, Joe, Joel, Crooked.
Exactly.
Like my two favorite are the
everybody
two
knows
on
Joe and Royce are probably
that,
the top ones.
Those are the two that I liked the most. I still feel like I don't know. It is what it is, but. The album is cool. It's doubtful that I'll be listening to it a ton, but you know they're always going to be able to rap. They killed the songs that they did. You know, don't get me wrong.
Skilled.
That's never going to go away.
Right. Yeah. That's why they teamed up. You know, that's why people like Slaughterhouse.
Agreed.
For those reasons. So for sure.
Y'all got samples?
Lyrical assassins. I do.
I don't have one. I don't have one either.
I kind of got one, so we can do that.
Cool.
We can do these
with it.
All right, well, we will be, like I said, back on this new schedule a little bit. It's not that much different since we were putting it out usually on like Tuesday morning, but it'll be Monday morning. We'll have shit ready to go each week. And if you're watching, we appreciate you. We'll be back next week. If you're on the audio, we got a couple of samples coming still.
What's up?
Peace.
Peace.